to Nerdlandia.
Welcome to Nerdlandia for another bonus episode. I'm your host, Emily Case Buskirk. Today, we're road tripping to Lawrence, Kansas to talk with local artist Andreas. He is an incredibly talented artist in so many different types of media, but today we're focusing on his work with Tufted rugs. We talk about his show Supernatural, which is what inspired me to reach out to him, the Tufted rug classes he taught at Lawrence Arts Center, and what makes the city an underrated creative hub in the Midwest. Andreas, thank you so much for joining. I am so excited to talk about your work.
Thank you so much. I am too.
And for the listeners, Andreas is from Kansas, and Lawrence specifically is where I saw his some of his work hanging in a random cocktail bar. And
Random?
I mean, to me, it's random.
I know. I totally get it.
But it's like so cool. And
Cool.
I'm glad I have that that little memento to like pin me to that moment. So
Cool,
anyway,
awesome.
that's some backstory. So in terms of your backstory, I saw that you have a background in visual communication. How do you use that to inform your approach to Tufted rugs?
Oh, shoot. Okay. So I do have a background in visual communication. I actually have a background in journalism, which I feel like a lot of it is storytelling based.
Exactly.
It is about getting ideas. It's about getting thoughts across. I feel like for me, I definitely utilize that in everything that I do regarding fiber arts, regarding tufted rugs, regarding whatever I'm making or whatever I'm creating at that time. I definitely am thinking about, okay, like, what do I want to be conveyed? What do I want to be communicated? That's something that I definitely pride myself on because I am very creative and expressive by nature. So I definitely do my best to infuse that again into everything that I'm doing, whether it's understood or not understood. Again, it always finds its audience. So.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And what was it like making the leap to more like textile art then? Had you done that before you started experimenting with the medium?
You know what? Actually, yes, I did. So my grandmother is a textile artist.
Amazing.
Yeah, I love her so much. My Oma, she's from Austria, so she is
That's
everything
awesome.
to me. But she does a lot of knitwear. She does
Okay.
a lot of sewing. She does,
Yeah.
she made all of her kids. She has 3 kids, one of them being my mom, but she did all of their prom dresses and she would make outfits for them. So I definitely remember being a young child and like listening to the sewing machine, like that click, 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 so I definitely was like, oh, that's fun. And then I've kind of stumbled across tufting during the pandemic because I don't know. I did see videos from here and there, whatever. But even before that, I had gotten into punch needling very like kind of just sporadically without any rhyme or reason. I had friends that were embroidering. I was taking textiles classes, fiber arts classes. And I just was like, you know what, like, let's give this a try. And it felt like I was painting with yarn, which I really enjoyed because I remember drawing a lot when I was a kid. And I don't know, I have a lot of creative influences and creative skins that I wore throughout my whole life. So
that makes sense. I totally vibe with the journalism background too, and how that's really about storytelling. And journalism is about a lot of things, but that's something I really connect with too. So
cool.
That's super cool to hear about.
Yeah.
The piece that I'd gotten was part of a collection called Supernatural. Tell us more about that.
Oh, do you want the real story? Do you want the fake story?
Since you're asking, then the real story, duh.
Okay.
Hey, listener. Jumping in real quick to say, if you don't want to hear a story about a mushroom trip and a dead baby bunny that was murdered by a cat, you can skip ahead to 11:20.
I got bestowed the lovely, lovely, lovely opportunity to house sit for a friend of mine who has a beautiful home and she has 3 beautiful cats. And so I promise this is going to go somewhere that makes sense.
It has cats.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So she was like, hey, I'm going to Colombia for a week. Can you please watch my cats? I said, absolutely. I will love to watch your cats. I had nothing but time in the world. But I was also thinking about what do I want to do for this show? So I was kind of in like a weird creative slump where I was like, well, I could go this way, I can go that way. I was like, whatever. But I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just like, let me house sit for my friend and let me kind of just whatever. So she had left me, some money. She left me some party favors, i.e. shrooms. She left me some magic mushrooms, which I had unbeknownst to me. Like, I was just like, oh, I had no idea she was going to do any of that. So I was like, okay, fine. So anyways, I went over there. She had 3 cats, Durango, Maud, and Mary. Oh. And she had informed me that Mary likes to leave gifts. They're all indoor, outdoor cats. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, cool. Didn't think anything of it. I have a cat of my own. I've cat sit before. Like, it's fine. On this particular day, I think it was like day 2, I went over. I was going to have a day there. She has a detached spa. It's like a detached sauna spa situation. So I was like, ooh,
damn, okay.
Yeah, I was like, okay, like, yes. She's like, please use it. Like, it's super nice. I paid $5,000 for it. Like, I would love for you to like use that. I said, don't gotta tell me twice. I absolutely will use this sauna. And so I was like, you know what? I have access to some magic mushrooms and I am going to consume those. I had my journal ready. I had my book that I was reading at the time ready. And I was like, let's fucking go. Like, I'm super excited, whatever. And it was also like April. So it was super stormy and it was going to storm that day. So whatever. Ground it up, put it in some yogurt, the shrooms. And I turned yeah. So the BBC was on. There were some crazy narrations.
This is a deluxe cat sitting experience.
It was the deluxe version that I did not ask for, but it happened against my own will, which I'm kind of cool with. So I was, watching it, whatever. I timed it perfectly where like the storm would happen, so I'd be in there when it's raining.
Yeah,
and I really wanted to be some like really, I didn't want it to be like a profound quote unquote experience, but I kind of knew that I was like, this is going to be something. So So, and again, I was kind of feeling a little blockaded by my own creativity. I was kind of like, but I had things I was toying around with, but I just needed that like extra oomph. Anyways, I'm getting ready. I am like, okay, get these cats fed, whatever. And I'm looking down the stairs.
Very important.
Yes. And I'm looking down the stairs and I see something. So like, I feel it. Like my chest is feeling kind of whatever. Like I'm feeling very like, ooh, okay, things are picking up, okay. Ooh, my brain's doing things. My emotions are doing things. And so I looked down the stairs. There's like a kind of like a half stair, like 8-step situation, not like a full like 13. It was like, well, half. I'm looking down. I'm like, what is going on there? And I look down and I go down there and I find a dead baby bunny. And I was like, what? What the fuck? And like, meanwhile, everything is like happening. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, Mary. I'm looking at Mary, the cat. I'm like, Mary, this was you. And I'm texting
the bitch.
Yeah. And I'm texting. Well, I was informed that she would leave presents. So I find paper towels. I find rags. I like pick up this baby bunny. And immediately when I pick it up, its head comes off. I'm like, oh my God. And again, everything's hitting me. The shrooms, the BBC, everything's hitting me. I'm like, oh my God, like this is going to be either really profound or really traumatizing. I don't know, but I'm here for it. I signed up for it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So, and again, it starts to storm too, because whatever, Kansas. And so where are you from?
Nebraska.
Okay. So you know about the Midwest, whichever way the wind blows.
Yes.
Okay. So things were blowing,
bullshit,
things were happening. Yeah. So I went outside and at this point, all the cats congregated for the funeral of this dead, decapitated baby bunny that I was like, oh my God, like, let me make a shallow grave, whatever. I'm like, this is so natural. This is supernatural. Like, this is insane. Like, this is like cats, they hunt, they do this, they do that, It was all like, if it was natural, but it was so intense and it was also very spiritual because I was just like, this is like extraordinary. And I'm also like a humorous person. I love puns. I love play on words. And I was like, this is it right here. This is supernatural. This is crazy. So I go into, eventually the shallow grave has been had, words have been spoken, yells have been said. I said, okay, great. So I go into the sauna. I'm like naked, covered in water. It was very sensual, very cute. But I'm like, okay, what's going on? And the only album I could think to listen to was Good Nature by Turnover, which is a band that I absolutely adore. They are a band that I grew up with. My friends and I, we love them. I've been to many of their shows in different cities. So, but I was listening to Good Nature because that was the first album that popped in my head because I was like, okay, like, nature, this all makes sense in the tapestry of my brain. And I was listening to it. And then the song Supernatural, Super Space Natural came on. And I said, there it is. Like, this is exactly the trajectory I want to take to my show. Like, I want it to be supernatural. I want it to be like natural. Also, at this time too, I was working a lot in my grandfather's yard. I was doing a lot of yard work. I was doing a lot of terraforming and landscaping. So I was outside a lot. And I've always been very connected to the outside and nature. Being an indoor cat myself, I found myself spending a lot of time outside. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Anyways, I can go to a whole tangent, but that was the basis of Supernatural with the show.
Yeah. It's like all these different things like weaving together.
Absolutely.
I can definitely get that. I mean, one of my favorites is the fish with like the insane like colors and patterns.
Yeah.
How it's like really loud, but then it's also like cohesive in its own way.
No, weirdly it does. Okay, I'm glad you said that. I just definitely want it to be like amplified natural. Like I wanted everything to be natural, but I wanted it to be like super. Like I want it to be like extraordinary. I want it to be flamboyant. I want it to be like just to the nth degree. So, because I feel like nature is kind of like that.
Yeah. Did you have any pieces that you felt like really like delivered that message really well, or that you were really like proud of?
I think you definitely nailed it on the head with the fish. That was a crowd favorite. I definitely love that one. That one in itself was like, I wanted to like, that one I feel like I pushed this agenda with like mediums that I use. I mean, I was cutting up old t-shirts. I was cutting up like all these materials and like literally punching them in.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, I was doing the absolute most, pushing as much material as possible into that piece. A lovely friend of mine actually ended up buying that piece, which I was very like honored by.
Yeah.
I feel like my MO, ever since I could conceptualize a thought, I literally was like, my whole MO is to be as exuberant as possible and be as amplified as possible, because I don't want to be like 6 feet under and feel like, oh man, I didn't do anything. That sucks.
Hell yeah.
Just like that baby bunny. I'm like, damn.
Oh god.
I was like, damn.
Definitely putting a content warning.
Yeah, put a content warning. I'm sorry. I would have censored myself more if I had known. I'm sorry.
Okay, here's where my train of thought was going though. Did you like teach some classes in Lawrence then? Like Tufted Rugs?
I sure did. And that was something that I definitely manifested for myself this year. I was like, I need to teach. I need, because again, I feel like textiles, like you kind of said, it was like a kind of getting more popularized. People are getting more into it. Honestly, I want to say it's not as near as where I want it to be. Me personally, me selfishly, I want it to be more of a thing because I go into a lot of art spaces a lot. I find myself walking through galleries, doing my thing, and I don't see a lot of textile art. And I feel like there is a commercialization with Tufted Rugs where people are like making like, I don't know, things that already exist. They're not making their own kind of spin on it. It's not a lot of like your own infusion of like what are you trying to say as an artist? And there are Tufted artists out there that are doing that. Like absolutely, I am one of those people, but there are plentiful others. There are people that are like really infusing themselves into textile art in a very profound way, in a very intentional way that I think it could be more highlighted. So that's kind of what I wanted to bring with punch needle tufting classes at the Lawrence Art Center. So I live in Lawrence, Kansas, and I wanted it to be something that was A, accessible, but B, something that was like, if I can do it, you can do it too. Let's hang out. I love connecting with people. I love yapping with people. And I love to like kind of just share things that I care about, thoughts, feelings, emotions, and art.
Hell
And
yes.
so, yeah, the past January up until now, I was teaching classes, and it has been so fulfilling and gorgeous and exciting. And everybody that I've encountered has thought about textiles and fiber arts in a way that was probably not on their radar before.
Oh, that is so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm guessing like that equipment is provided, or do people have to like buy equipment before they did it?
No, we had the
Yeah.
art center
Yes.
buying that stuff. Absolutely.
Amazing. Okay, that's what I was assuming,
Oh,
but
yeah.
just want to check. So, firstly, yeah, it's making it easy for people to like get into that and like
Yeah.
removing that hurdle. And then, yeah, like what kind of stuff do people get to make?
Oh my God. People made freaking phenomenal things. I was so
Mhm.
thoroughly impressed. I was so flabbergasted. I mean, I'm thinking about my first round of students. We made tufted pillow situations that I, first of all, prior to
Hmm.
me proposing the class, had no idea how to do. So it was kind of like a on a whim thing, and then I kind of figured out. I was
Yeah,
like, okay, cool. Like this is what we're gonna do. Granted, would I do it again? Probably not.
definitely.
I was just like, okay, one and done. Pillow
Yeah.
tufting, that's fine. But people
All
made
right. All right.
gorgeous things. I mean, I had one
Mm-hmm.
woman who ended up taking the next round of classes that I was teaching. She made a turtle that was like, I didn't realize it was going to be a thing. Like it looked like a mess. And then she shaved it and it all came together. It was
I love
amazing. I
that.
had I had people making just kind of like abstract things. They were just responding to colors. That was amazing.
Yeah.
This most recent class that I had somebody made like a corgi butt that was like trippy and like they used
That is fucking
yeah,
incredible.
no, oh my gosh. That he was first of all, he had a printmaking background, so I was like, okay, cool. You already have like a
Mm-hmm.
level of like
Mm-hmm.
detail that I was
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. But yeah, he made
Mm-hmm.
that and
Mm-hmm.
he used all these like bright colors he never uses. And then I had people just again, like I had somebody doing a three-eyed orange tabby cat. Somebody did a
Mm.
cloudscape with star, like the things that were coming out of people's brains and their own hands at the end of the day because it's such a tactile medium. You have to use your hands a lot.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was very fulfilling and very incredible.
One thing I love, and I've only been to Lawrence a couple times, because the bottleneck like draws me there for concerts, but it is such an artsy place. Like, why is it so artsy?
I like to think of Lawrence as like the Midwest energy vortex.
Yeah.
I think like people just somehow, some way find themselves having some sort of tie, whether it's directly to Lawrence or like, they
Hmm.
know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody that's affiliated
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
Lawrence. I felt that again. I'm not a Lawrence native by any means, but coming to Lawrence and now I have all these people in the Northeast where I'm from have some connection to Lawrence just by through me. It's a transient place, but again, the
Hmm.
music scene here, people always, especially smaller bands or bands that are like up and coming, they always stop in Lawrence. Bottleneck is one of those
Yeah.
venues, absolutely.
Hmm.
Granada, Lucia's even,
Hmm.
Kansas City is a hop and a skip away. Like, th-
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty close.
I think Lawrence is just kind of like the weird hidden gem oasis of the
Hmm.
Midwest that people, if you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. But like, if you know, you absolutely know. Like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
yeah, that's kind of why, that's my own theory. It could be subject to extrapolation or interpretation, but
Yeah, no, I appreciate that because it's been so much fun to discover. I mean, I love finding hidden gems. But yeah, that's just like a question that looms in my head of just like, this place is really fucking awesome.
right?
Like,
I love
did
it.
not expect to like find that here. Like amazing restaurants. Also like cycling, so I love the sunflower like
Yes.
shop
Oh my
and
gosh. You and my
yeah, just it
boyfriend.
just has everything.
Yeah. I'm telling you, like, I feel like every other person I know, my bike got stolen my freshman year, or no, my
Oh
sophomore year
shit.
of college.
No.
Whoever has my bike, please return it. I miss her. But
I'm sure that they're listening.
I'm sure they're listening. And if you're not listening, I hope this finds, regardless, no, there's a huge cycling community. Again, the beauty of Lawrence is that there is a community for everybody. You just have to seek it out. And regardless, even if
Yes.
you are not seeking it out, it's going to find its way towards you. It really will.
Oh yeah, for sure. Anything else you want to say about your work or, tufted rugs or anything at all?
textile arts was definitely something that has brought art to where it is. There are places in the world where people communicate with textiles and fiber arts.
Yes.
Like there are places in China that literally they do not have a formulated Chinese language, but they utilize quilts and rugs and textiles and all these things to communicate what their experiences are. And again, that's just one small sector of textiles and fiber arts, but I'm writing right now a thesis about the Tufted zeitgeist, textiles in relation to fine art, because you go into museums, it's always drawings, it's always paintings, it's always these things, sculptures, ceramics, whatever. Textile arts gets put on the back burner because of the Industrial Revolution. You know, they see it as a craft.
Oh, yeah.
They see it as, you know, just something. I mean, you're wearing textiles right now. You're wearing clothes. And again, with the introduction, or not the introduction, but the perpetuation of fast fashion and all these things like textiles. I mean, after petroleum, oil, textiles are the second most wasteful industry in the world. And I think that kind of taints a little bit of the textile fiber arts community a little bit, because it's just like, okay, you're making things.
Yep.
But it's so important. And I think, I mean, as a queer textile artist, I think my voice at the end of the day is always going to be valid. It's always going to be valid, regardless of what anybody says.
Fuck yes.
If it's valid to me, it's going to be valid to hopefully somebody else.
Yes.
And I want people to just take textiles and fiber arts, tufted arts, whatever, what have you. I want it to be taken seriously. I want it to be taken as an actual fine art and not just a craft, not just a silly trend on TikTok, not just a, you know, something you're scrolling by. Oh, that looks pretty. Oh, that looks fun. That looks whatever. There are people out there making statements with textiles and fibers. There are people out there that are communicating their own culture and experiences with textiles and fiber arts. And that is something that I think should be highlighted moving forward. And eventually it will be, because I said it. It's going to happen.
Yes. Okay. Firstly, applaud you for that. Was fucking incredible.
Thank you.
And yeah, actually, a lot of the stuff that you're talking about, like I have gotten to feature on the show. Like I've featured like numerous textile artists. I've had a couple of like discussions on like thrifting and stuff like that. So we've definitely like talked about the fast fashion thing.
Absolutely.
If you ever do make it to Lincoln, Nebraska, we have like a quilt museum, and it sounds like would be like kind of like more history focused, but it's an amazing mix of art and like quilting as an art and textiles as an art. Like the stuff I've seen there is incredible, and I think you need to go see that.
Okay, well, A, I love history. Yeah. B, I love textiles. C, I love quilts, and I am incorporating quilts into my new show, July 25th at the Pig. And there's going to be some, what you thought you knew, chuck it out the door. It's going to be amazing. So I'm so happy you told me. What's the name of the museum?
It's the International Quilt Museum.
Okay, cool.
Yes, so that would align really well with your work. So anyway, it was so delightful to talk to you. Thank you for telling us all about your work, and I'm just excited to see what you come up with next.
Stay tuned. That's all I gotta say.
After that chat, I am fired up about local art. I'm either going to go back to the Quilt Museum to see some new exhibits, sign up for a pottery class, or maybe both? I don't know. Let me know what you've been doing to get creative lately. And of course, you have to go check out Andreas' work listed in the show notes. Nerdlandia is hosted, produced, and edited by Emily Case Buskirk. Theme song and ending credit music by Keith West. Cover art by Ellen Stebbings. Additional music from Pixabay. There's a lot I don't know about actually making them. Like I kind of have in my head, I guess based on like you said, those videos you see like on Instagram or TikTok.
They make them look nice and peaceful.
Yeah.
It's not. It's hard. There's a learning curve. It's a lot.